Hi, welcome back to the channel. We have a quick little video here of Fox News interviewing Doug Bergum. He's the governor of North Dakota,
North Dakota.
and they're just talking about the Supreme Court ruling and the Trump candidacy. He's a contender for the VP pick.
Mhm.
So we don't really know much about him. Just read a few things on X, and so we just came across this video. It's just posted tonight. So we'll just take a look at it and then talk about it.
Okay, here we go.
Whatever happens, it means it cannot go to trial before the election.
There will not be a trial before November.
0% chance that happens before November.
If Donald Trump wins this election in November, he won it over the course of these last 5 days.
So in a big win for Trump, today is ruling from the Supreme Court, likely delaying trial in the federal election case against him until after the November election, taking a huge issue out of the bloodstream for this campaign period. And that is clearly a win in and of itself for the Trump side. North Dakota Governor Doug Bergum joins me now. He's considered a top contender as Trump VP. Governor Bergum, great to have you with us today. Saw you on this morning, and Brian Kilmeade was out there in North Dakota. Very interesting to watch you at home and hear from your wife, Catherine, as well. So welcome. It's good to have you. Let's start with your reaction to this decision today. How do you break it down in terms of what you think that the justices said and did in this decision?
Well, Martha, first of all, great to be with you, and it was great to have Fox and Friends in North Dakota. And I think in addition to the Supreme Court ruling, getting Brian Kilmeade on a horse is pretty big news, too.
You're right there.
But relative to what's been handed down today, I mean, this is a big win for America, and it's a big win for the Constitution. And it's a bad day for the Biden campaign of lawfare against President Trump. And I think it's really interesting that the Democrat defenders and pundits that are all attacking this ruling by the Supreme Court, this isn't a ruling for President Trump. This is a ruling for presidents. This ruling also protects Joe Biden from immunity against official acts in office. And we need to have immunity for presidents of the United States, particularly when we're in times like we are now or conducting war. In these proxy wars around the world. And so it's just really telling that they're so upset about the ruling because they see it as stopping what they were actually doing, which was political lawfare against President Trump.
Yeah, it's so interesting because you see one side looking at it as protection for the presidency, all future presidents, and the other side is looking at it as Trump getting away with something that they didn't want him to get away with. This is from the debate the other night when former President Trump was asked about accepting the election results. And this is a question that's just, it's not going to go away, especially now in light of this decision. I think that you're going to see people wanting this to be a story that continues to be talked about since they didn't get what they wanted from this judicial process. Here's his answer. And you can see the dials of independents and Republicans going positive on his response here. Watch this.
If it's a fair and legal and good election, absolutely. I would have much rather accepted these, but the fraud and everything else was ridiculous. And if you want, we'll have a news conference on it in a week, or we'll have another one of these in a week. But I will absolutely, there's nothing I'd rather do.
What did you think of that response, Governor?
Well, I think it's interesting that President Trump could not have been more clear that he supports the results of a free and fair election. And this has been a whole storyline since Friday after Joe Biden's incredible poor performance. But it went more than just Joe Biden's poor performance. This was the collapse of a ruling coalition regime by the Democrats that they put together 4 years ago. The whole thing collapsed, and that's why they're in a tailspin. And that's why on every Sunday show yesterday, the question was, why didn't President Trump say X, Y, or Z? Well, he did say it. You just played the clip. He said it clear as day that he would accept the results. But of course, the caveat is free and fair. I asked the question yesterday and said, well, will Joe Biden accept the results if he loses? Because we know in 2000, they fought it for 2 months down in Broward County, the Democrats did. Ron Klain, who prepped the president for the debate is the guy that was, Kevin Spacey played him in the movie Recount. Ron Klain was at the heart of challenging the election in 2000. In 2016, yes, Hillary Clinton said she accepted the results, and then the next day they launched a smear campaign against President Trump, which lasted now 8 years. Again, trying to claim Russian collusion. So of course, every independent, every Democrat, every Republican should want what we have in North Dakota, which is elections when they're done, everybody believes the results and we don't have to litigate them. That's what we need for all of America. But we don't have just one election. We have an election that occurs in over 3,100 different counties across this nation. And there's a handful of them that have got a track record where we really have to watch and make sure that the results are free and fair.
So if
very
you
true.
were to become vice president, when you look at what happened last time around, President Trump did not want the certification to go through in Congress. And ultimately, the vice president, Mike Pence, decided that was his constitutional duty to certify that election. What would you have done in his shoes in that moment?
Well, Martha, I think this hypothetical is one that's not going to happen. President Trump, he wins, he serves 4 years, he won't be on the ballot again. But the real question is for Kamala Harris. She's going to be likely the sitting vice president next January 6th. Is she going to be certifying an election if Joe Biden loses in a close race? I think that's the real test for the Democrats. Are they going to do what they are, claiming, where they make big news out of this all the time, looking backwards? President Trump is really looking forward. And I think, again, one of the reasons why he won on Thursday night so big and why they should elect this. They should erect a statue for him like Rocky because of his knockout performance. But he was looking forward. I mean, he had answers on inflation, on the border, on how to solve the wars overseas, on how to get U.S. energy policy and get energy going again in the United States. I mean, he was looking forward. And Joe Biden, I'm not sure where he was looking.
Governor Bergum, thank you. Continuing conversation. We hope to have you back again soon. Nice to have you with us today, sir. Thank you very much.
So I think that was good.
Yeah, it was good. The Supreme Court ruling is going to be huge. It's going to be big.
Yeah, I read a little bit about it today. It's a lot to read, and there's of course, it's polar like everything else. So of course you have, the more conservative side, that are just like, this is great, and I agree. I mean, I see their points on that, and then you see, of course, people that are on the more of a liberal stance that are against it and say that this is just horrible, then against the Constitution. So I don't really know enough to make a comment.
From what I gather, what the Supreme Court said is that the president does have immunity.
Yes,
as long as he's performing duties of a presidential duties, but not personal. So they did not make a ruling on what his personal or presidential duties were. So they kicked it back to a lower court.
Okay.
So now it'll be a discussion or fight over the charges that he has. Are they what he was doing? Was that part of his presidential duties or personal?
Right.
So it's going to drag things out. More than likely, pretty much all of his cases are going to be put on hold while they.
But that's just federal cases, right? Not New York, not the New York State.
Because
I think it's separate.
It depends on the case. I think,
okay.
Yeah, the one in New York, it may be something different.
Okay, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. But we'll have to see. We'll see. But this is going to be interesting. I think a lot of his cases will be put on hold.
I think this was more addressing the January 6th stuff. If I read it right, I think. So he seemed knowledgeable. He seems,
Yeah,
I don't really know much about him.
Unfortunately, I don't know much about him. I've heard his name thrown around as much. I don't know how high up on the list he is.
I don't either, and it's so hard to know. I mean, there's some that have been talked more about than others, but I have heard that she was even asking him about it in the video. So, apparently there's been word of it probably bounced around
Mm-hmm.
his campaign detail or something like that. I mean, who knows? He's supposed to announce the VP
I think
at
or
the
before or
RNC
yeah.
convention.
Mhm.
So we'll see.
We'll see.
There's a lot's going to be happening in the next
Yeah.
few weeks. Well, a lot's going to be happening until November, but a lot's going to be happening here in the next few days, few weeks. I feel like every day there's something new happening. So a lot to cover. But that's something that I noticed on X today was Supreme Court ruling. A lot of that.
That's been the big thing. That's
Yeah.
been the big talk
of the day.
That ruling and all. So, and how that's going to affect Trump and all of his legal battles.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see.
We will.
Yeah. That'll be one to watch. So
yes,
stay tuned. We'll try to, as we learn more about that one, we may do a follow-up video and on that, later on. And we may research Doug Burnham some more and
Bergum.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that was interesting. Thought it was a good video.
Yeah.
Just wanted to share that.
Mm-hmm.
If we have any viewers from North Dakota, if you have anything to add about your governor, we'd love to hear it.
like
I mean,
him?
we're down in Florida, so we don't really know anything about him. But if anyone does and they'd like to share in the comments, we'd love to hear from you. Or if you have something to add, or if maybe you happen to be, practice law, or you're in that field or area of expertise, and you could shine some light on this Supreme Court ruling, or if you're knowledgeable about that, please share, please comment, because we're all learning together. And yeah, we'd love to hear from you if you have any comments.
Yeah, we would. Thank y'all again, for watching, and all your support. Everyone who have subscribed to us, we really appreciate it.
Yes.
Channel's really growing. It's
exciting.
It's exciting. And we've been enjoying communicating with everyone, the comments and all. It's some good conversations.
Yes, and it's always good to have feedback, and we really appreciate all the kind words and the questions, and some of them are very funny, which I love humor, so I can definitely appreciate that, especially in these days and times. We need to laugh sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, anything that you could add, that would be great. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe. Please share with your friends, and we'll see you on the next one.
All right. Thank y'all.